It was a warm evening in Hyderabad when the city's peace was shattered by a single call to the police control room. The voice on the other end trembled as it reported an unconscious woman inside a luxury apartment at Banjara Hills. Within minutes, flashing lights and sirens filled the quiet neighborhood, drawing curious eyes from every window. Inside that apartment, a young, beautiful doctor named Kruthika Reddy lay lifeless on the marble floor, her wrists bruised, her pulse gone. The scent of expensive perfume mixed with something darker, the unmistakable trace of tragedy. At first glance, it looked like a suicide. The door was locked from the inside and a note rested on the side table. But one look at Kruthika's face told a different story. Her expression wasn't of peace, it was of pain and shock, as if she had seen death coming. When the police picked up that note, they noticed smudged ink, uneven handwriting, and something else. A strange sense of haste. Detective Ravi Prasad, known for his sharp instincts, was among the first on the scene. He walked slowly through the apartment, noticing every detail. The half-finished cup of coffee, the overturned photo frame showing Kruthika with her husband, Dr. Mahendra Reddy, smiling at their lavish wedding. Everything about the photo screamed perfection. Two doctors, both successful, both admired by their families. But perfection, Ravi thought, often hides secrets too dark to see in daylight. Mahendra arrived soon after, visibly shaken. He rushed toward Kruthika's body, tears rolling down his face. His grief seemed genuine, but Ravi had seen too many similar performances before. Mahendra kept repeating, "She was depressed, officer." She wasn't happy these days. His voice cracked, yet there was a certain control to it, a practiced sorrow that didn't quite sit right. Ravi noted it silently. Neighbors began gathering near the gate. Some whispered that the couple had frequent arguments. Others swore they looked like the happiest pair in the building. One neighbor recalled hearing muffled shouting just the night before, around midnight. But in a city full of noise, who takes shouting seriously anymore? As forensic teams combed through the flat, small inconsistencies began to surface. The angle of the wrist marks, the absence of struggle in the living room, the phone wiped clean of fingerprints. Each detail whispered that someone had carefully arranged the scene. Ravi's eyes narrowed. If this was suicide, it was the neatest one he had ever seen. Later that evening, when Mahendra was called to the station for a routine statement, he appeared calm. Too calm. His words were precise, his tone measured. "We had small fights like every couple. She was stressed from work, that's all," he said. But when asked about the timeline of that day, he hesitated. A pause so subtle, yet enough for a trained officer to notice. Ravi decided to dig deeper. He requested Kruthika's phone records, and what he found began to twist the narrative. There were frequent calls to a number saved simply as S. The last call was made just 30 minutes before her death. The mysterious contact's number led nowhere. It was registered under a fake name. But the pattern of messages revealed something else. Kruthika was planning to leave someone. The question was, who? The next morning, Kruthika's parents arrived from Vijayawada. Her mother collapsed at the sight of her daughter's body, screaming that Mahendra was responsible. Her father, a retired police officer, stood in silence, staring coldly at his son-in-law. "She told us everything," he finally said. "You think money can hide the truth, Mahendra." Those words froze the air in the room. Mahendra's eyes flickered for a moment, but he said nothing. The media picked up the story within hours. "Doctor's mysterious death after luxury wedding," read the headlines. Everyone wanted answers. Behind the glamour of two high-profile medical professionals, something ugly was unraveling. The more Ravi learned about Kruthika's life, the more contradictions he found. Friends said she was cheerful, confident, full of dreams. So what could have pushed her to such despair? Or had someone else pushed her over the edge? Ravi ordered a second forensic review of the apartment. This time, a small trace of powder was found near the coffee cup. The lab results confirmed it. It was a sedative, strong enough to render someone unconscious in minutes. Suicide notes don't usually come with drug traces, Ravi thought grimly. The theory had shifted. This wasn't self-inflicted pain. It was planned. Meanwhile, Mahendra continued to project grief in front of cameras, often visiting Kruthika's photo, talking about her fragile mental state. But behind that mask, cracks began to appear. A nurse from the hospital came forward claiming she had seen Mahendra arguing with another woman in the parking lot days before Kruthika's death. And that woman, she said, wasn't Kruthika. As Ravi pieced together the fragments, a secret number, sedatives, and whispers of infidelity, he realized this wasn't a simple domestic tragedy. It was something far more calculated. There was love, betrayal, and greed intertwined in a story that had only just begun to unfold. Before closing his report for the night, Ravi stared at the photo of Kruthika and Mahendra once more. He couldn't shake the feeling that the smile in that picture wasn't real. Behind it there was fear. Fear of something she knew but couldn't escape. And as the city went to sleep, the case that had started as a suicide was quietly transforming into a murder investigation. But who really killed Dr. Kruthika Reddy? And why? That answer, as Ravi was about to discover, would shake everyone who thought they knew the perfect couple. Detective Ravi Prasad didn't sleep that night. The crime scene kept replaying in his mind. The spotless apartment, the forged note, the untouched coffee cup. Everything about the case whispered deception. When dawn broke, he sat with Kruthika's call records again, tracing each unknown number. One in particular stood out, the mysterious S. The more he looked at it, the more it felt like the key to everything. Meanwhile, Mahendra appeared to be playing the role of a grieving husband perfectly. The media loved him, the handsome doctor mourning his wife's mental illness. But Ravi knew that grief fades slowly, not in front of cameras. When he visited Mahendra's hospital the next day, he noticed something curious. A young nurse, visibly nervous, avoided eye contact every time Mahendra walked by. When Ravi approached her privately, she hesitated, her eyes darting toward the door before whispering, "Sir, please don't tell anyone I said this, but Dr. Mahendra, he wasn't faithful to his wife." That was the spark Ravi needed. The nurse revealed that Mahendra had been secretly seeing another woman, a physiotherapist named Sonia, who worked in the same hospital. Sonia was confident, attractive, and known for her charm. Their relationship wasn't just physical. Mahendra had promised her a future. But after Kruthika's death, Sonia stopped coming to work altogether. Her phone was switched off. She had vanished as if she never existed. Ravi's instincts screamed that Sonia was the missing link. He sent a team to track her down. 2 days later, she was found staying at a friend's flat in Secunderabad, terrified and pale. At first, she refused to talk, claiming she had no connection with Mahendra anymore. But when shown the call records and messages exchanged between them, full of love, anger, and threats, her silence broke. Tears streamed down her face as she whispered, "I never wanted this to happen." He told me he would end things peacefully. End things? Ravi asked sharply. You mean his marriage? She nodded weakly. He said Kruthika was planning to divorce him. She found out about us. He was afraid she'd destroy his reputation and take everything in the settlement. He said he had a plan, but I thought he was bluffing. Sonia described how Mahendra had grown increasingly desperate in the days leading up to Kruthika's death. He'd been researching sedatives, withdrawing large sums of cash and deleting messages. He'd also convinced Kruthika to sign a new insurance policy, worth crores, with him as the sole beneficiary. The motive was slowly coming into view. Ravi requested the insurance documents and the timeline confirmed it. The policy was updated barely 3 weeks before Kruthika's death. A chilling thought formed in his mind. Was this entire tragedy built on greed disguised as love? While investigators dug into Mahendra's finances, new CCTV footage emerged from the apartment building. Around 10:30 p.m. on the night of the incident, Mahendra was seen entering the building, despite claiming he was on a night shift at the hospital. 2 hours later, he left again, his face hidden behind a mask. The timestamp was crucial. Kruthika's time of death was estimated between 11 p.m. and midnight. The web was tightening around Mahendra, but Ravi knew he needed undeniable proof. When forensic experts revisited the apartment, they found faint traces of fingerprints on the inner side of the window latch, belonging to Mahendra. That single piece of evidence shattered his locked door suicide story. He had staged everything. Ravi now had motive, opportunity, and evidence. But the one thing missing was Mahendra's confession. And Mahendra wasn't the kind of man to break easily. During interrogation, he remained calm, denying everything. "You can't prove I killed her," he said coldly. "You people are desperate to find a villain, so you made me one." His arrogance filled the room like poison. But Ravi had one last card to play. He called Sonia to the station under protection. When she entered the room, Mahendra's face changed. For the first time, he looked shaken. Sonia glared at him, her voice trembling. "You said she wouldn't suffer. You said it would be quick." The words hung heavy in the air. Mahendra's composure cracked for just a second, but it was enough. Ravi seized the moment. "So you admit you planned this together?" he pressed. Silence followed, thick and suffocating. Mahendra's eyes darted around the room. "No," he snapped finally. "She's lying. I loved my wife." But the evidence spoke louder than his words. Sonia's statements, the insurance papers, the sedative traces, all pointed to a perfect plan that had gone horribly wrong. As Mahendra was led away for further questioning, Sonia collapsed in tears. "He said we'd start a new life abroad," she sobbed. "I believed him, until that night." Her confession painted the full picture. On the night of the murder, Mahendra had called Kruthika, asking to meet and talk things out. He drugged her coffee, waited until she lost consciousness, and then staged the suicide. But fate left small fingerprints, literally, on the window latch. The next morning, news channels exploded with the update. Dr. Mahendra Reddy's double life exposed. The perfect image of a grieving husband shattered overnight. But Ravi wasn't satisfied yet. Something about Sonia's story still felt incomplete. If Mahendra had planned everything, Why would Sonia hide right after the incident? And why did her messages suggest fear? Fear not just of exposure, but of someone watching her. That question lingered in Ravi's mind like a shadow. As he reviewed the final message Kruthika sent before her death, one line stood out. If anything happens to me, check the person he trusts the most. But who was that person? Was Sonia really telling the full truth? Or was she hiding something even darker? The answers, Ravi knew, would turn this case from a story of betrayal into something far more sinister. Detective Ravi Prasad couldn't shake the cryptic line from Kruthika's final message. Check the person he trusts the most. It echoed in his mind like a haunting melody. Everyone assumed that meant Sonia. But what if it wasn't her? What if someone even closer to Mahendra had helped cover his tracks? The more Ravi thought about it, the more he realized this web of deceit went beyond a simple affair. 2 days later, he received a call from forensics. They had reanalyzed Kruthika's phone, this time digging deeper into deleted files. Hidden inside an encrypted folder were several voice notes, Kruthika's private recordings. One stood out. In it, her voice trembled as she said, "If you're hearing this, it means I didn't survive. I'm scared of Mahendra, but I'm more scared of who's helping him." That sentence changed everything. Ravi's instincts kicked in. The murderer wasn't working alone. He called Sonia back for another round of questioning. When confronted with the recording, she looked stunned. "No," she whispered. "I didn't help him. I swear I didn't." But as Ravi watched her body language, trembling hands, darting eyes, he knew she was hiding something. Slowly, she admitted there was another person who knew about Mahendra's plan. "He told me not to talk about it," she said. "He said this man would handle the details if anything went wrong." Ravi leaned forward. "What's his name, Sonia?" She hesitated before whispering, "Arjun. Dr. Arjun Varma, Mahendra's best friend." The revelation hit like a thunderbolt. Arjun and Mahendra had been college roommates, business partners, and co-founders of their private hospital. They shared everything: money, reputation, and trust. If anyone could have helped Mahendra stage a perfect crime, it was him. Ravi wasted no time. He ordered surveillance on Arjun and began reviewing his bank transactions. Within hours, the pattern emerged: large cash withdrawals, a sudden property purchase, and a mysterious overseas transfer right after Kruthika's death. When questioned, Arjun tried to play innocent, claiming he was helping Mahendra through a tough time. But his mask began to slip when Ravi presented phone tower data showing Arjun near the apartment on the same night. The puzzle pieces were falling into place. On the night of the murder, Mahendra wasn't alone. He had Arjun waiting outside the building, ready to help him escape undetected. Arjun had likely helped wipe fingerprints, plant the fake suicide note, and ensure the scene looked perfect. But fate once again left traces no one could erase. Ravi confronted Arjun with the evidence. The doctor broke into a cold sweat. "You don't understand," he said. "I didn't kill her. I just helped him clean up." He said she attacked him, that it was an accident. Ravi's patience finally cracked. "You helped destroy a woman's truth," he thundered. "You helped turn her death into a lie." When Ravi presented both Mahendra and Arjun together, the tension was electric. Mahendra's calm arrogance began to crumble. "You betrayed me," he shouted at Arjun. "You said no one would find out." Arjun snapped back. "You dragged me into this." I wanted out. Their arguments spiraled into chaos, each blaming the other. It was all Ravi needed. The truth spilled out between their accusations. Mahendra finally confessed, half in anger, half in despair. He admitted he had been having an affair with Sonia for over a year. When Kruthika discovered it and threatened divorce, his career and public image were at stake. Arjun, burdened by his own financial troubles, agreed to help Mahendra for money. Together they planned the perfect murder: sedate Kruthika, stage a suicide, and claim the insurance money. Sonia's role was limited to helping Mahendra emotionally, but her silence afterward made her complicit. The courtroom was packed months later. Mahendra's fall from grace was absolute. The man once admired for his brilliance now stood as a cold-blooded murderer. Sonia testified against him, her trembling voice describing the manipulation, the fear, and the lies. Arjun, racked with guilt, turned approver and revealed every step of the plan. In the end, Mahendra was sentenced to life imprisonment, while Arjun received a lighter sentence for cooperating. But what struck everyone most was Kruthika's foresight. Her recordings, her final messages, and her instinct to protect herself even in fear had brought her justice. As her parents sat in court, tears streaming down their faces, Ravi felt a rare sense of peace. He had seen too many cases end without closure, but this time, truth had prevailed. Still, as he filed his final report, a small unease lingered in his mind. A forensic officer walked up to him and placed an evidence bag on his desk. Inside was a pendant, a tiny silver locket found under Kruthika's bed. It wasn't hers, the officer said. DNA results match Sonia. Ravi froze. Why was Sonia's locket under the bed if she wasn't there that night? He looked out the window, the city lights flickering like distant stars. Was there more to Sonia's story than she had confessed? Had she really stayed away from the scene, or was her role in that deadly night deeper than anyone imagined? The case was closed, justice delivered, and headlines declared the mystery solved. But deep down, Ravi knew truth doesn't always end in a courtroom, and perhaps somewhere out there one last secret still waited to be uncovered. So tell me, what do you think? Was Sonia truly innocent? Or did the perfect crime have one more accomplice still hiding in the shadows?